So my name is Miriam Parker and I grew up in New York City in the Lower East Side. I started my art practice as a dancer and spent many years of my life dancing professionally. I grew up within the avant-garde jazz scene. The philosophy and practice within the avant-garde jazz community has been a large inspiration and education and has informed my work greatly. I've let go of that title as dancer because the medium and the materials that I utilize to create expand way beyond my body. So I have been creating installations, and it's this multi-layered process of first an interest to choreograph space and create environments that are conducive to answering certain questions, an environment that creates a palette for me to organize how I relate to my space with my body. And I see that structure as a type of instrument that I then use later to play as I perform in that space. But as I first went into installation, the impetus was actually to create spaces for other people to dance, to move their body. How do people move in space? And it was an interest to offer the performative experience to others. I became more interested in time. What happens in the time of dance and what happens in the time of visual art? What are those time differences? And film? How do you work with time and film? How do you go back in time? How do you invite the viewer to be reflective? How do you invite the viewer to be in their body, in the present moment? And how do you create a situation where they're looking into the future? And how does space and the use of space and speed and light contribute to working with the psychology of humanity? And that's the genius of artwork in some way, is that it becomes a vehicle, or maybe, I don't know what to say, a vehicle, a tool that you can use to take you places. And that bending of space and time and perception is a huge part, I think, of one's evolution, personal evolution. So I guess in my work there's a lot of philosophy that I apply, and I am deeply steeped in kind of that contemplation and then applying that mind, using that mind to then relate to my practices. The future for me is I have a very specific thing. I very much want to make I talk about the installations as instruments, and I really want to make them into instruments. So I'm very excited about that. And I also want to keep moving forward into pushing things to be mobile. So I'm kind of welling up with ideas.